on ride the train to Busan with us. Welcome to the 6th episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, coming to you from Houston, Texas. I'm your host, Mitch, and as always, I am joined by the two people I'd love to have in a zombie apocalypse scenario. My good buddy, Nate.
That's why mommy left.
And Lisa. This week, we are on the train to Busan. Now, every week on Texas Podcast Massacre, we take a look at a different horror movie. We discuss some news, different new releases, what's going on in the horror world, and we have a good old-fashioned debate with our unsuspecting victims. Once again, we have a train car full of them this week, as we have our good friend Kirti once again. Welcome back.
Hola.
And boarding the crazy train for the first time, we have Matt.
Not sure what I signed up for.
No, you are not. I promise that'll probably be... I'm mostly done with train puns. I don't know.
I was going to say, you signed up for train puns.
Yeah, that's a lot. First, Kirti, we'll start with you, to reintroduce yourself to our audience. So I hear you have a big crush in this movie. Can you tell us about that?
Not necessary.
Well, so let me ask you this. Based on our last conversation, who would you pick in an end-of-the-world scenario? The main guy in Train to Busan or Mr. Will Smith from I Am Legend?
No questions, Will Smith.
Oh.
Yeah.
Big Willie style wins again.
Come on.
That's right.
Come on.
That's right.
I feel like he'll go undefeated for quite a few movies. So, should be good.
I mean, just looking at the physical stamina, comparing Will Smith to the main guy.
Okay.
Just saying, I mean, this guy does what? He's a venture capitalist or something of some kind.
He is a
There's Will
fund
Smith.
manager.
Same thing.
Fund
Ambiguous.
manager.
A fund. Take off the D. He's a fund manager.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. His kid did not give him that title.
Don't.
That's why mommy left.
All right. And joining us for the first time is Matt. So welcome, Matt. So you are not a fan of horror movies. Is that right?
Generally not. I do like zombie movies on occasion.
Okay. So if you had to pick a horror movie you would prefer, it's a zombie movie.
Probably, yeah.
Why is that? Is it scary? Is it just you just enjoy is it more the action feel of it? What's
It's more the action, it's the apocalypse. I don't know. It's exciting. Generally, I just don't find them to be as scary. Anything that's more of like a psychological thriller is really going to get under my skin.
okay?
Do you have a favorite zombie?
Like 28 Days Later. Or...
28 Days Later, actually, I would say that one. I also really like Dawn of the Dead.
Okay.
Both good choices.
Nice. Okay, well, welcome both of y'all. With that, we'll go ahead and move on to the news.
First eyewitness account came from people who were understandably frightened and almost incoherent.
So for this week, we're going to review what's coming up at Netflix in July. As always, when we do these, I'm basically going to just read you a short synopsis of what the movie's about. And then you tell me, is this something you would sign up for? Would you actually watch this? And again, this is based on sort of my notes. It may not really tell you all that much.
They are not comprehensive.
They are not good. So this one was very short. It's called Delicatessen, and all I wrote down was French Sweeney Todd.
Oh, okay.
But with clowns.
Oh.
So this is different?
So
Johnny Depp had a lot of white face paint. I mean, that's true.
So in this one, it's a butcher who is murdering people and selling them as food. A clown moves in, but before he's able to kill this clown and serve him up, his daughter falls in love with him, with the clown.
Oh,
so now he's got this. What do I do? This is.
So this is French?
It's French.
So is it a clown or is it a mime?
I think I may have watched it.
It does say a former circus clown from what I read, but I don't know. That's a very good point.
Okay.
Do you think the food would taste funny if it was made a clown?
You made that joke.
I said it was the last train pun. I did not say it was the last any other terrible joke I was going to make.
This is a prequel to the new It movie, right?
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe this is what Pennywise
universe?
goes insane.
Okay, same universe.
It is French. Who knows? Maybe it's pretty creepy. It could also just be nothing but accordions and mimes, which is scary in its own right. So, Kirti, you think you've already seen this?
I think I may have. It sounds all too familiar. I definitely watched the butcher part, killing people and then feeding. But that's very common.
That's not an unknown.
And we're
Yeah.
talking about a movie. You're making
That's
sure this is a
right.
movie. Okay, I'm just making sure.
Just, movies, dreams, real life, whatever. all the same. It sounds very familiar, at least the beginning parts of it. I definitely don't remember a love story attached to it, because that would be weird. But I'm going to go ahead and watch it, because I want to see if I actually did watch it
So it's
before.
worth a watch /
Worth a
rewatch.
watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Definitely.
Hi, Matt. What do you
Matt,
think?
yeah.
It doesn't sound French to me. It doesn't sound like it's in black and white. There's no self-accent.
What if he's baking them into baguettes? Does that change the scenario for you?
It does.
Okay.
It does. And
Side of
then
escargot.
Still no. Still no.
Still
It's a hard pass.
It's a hard pass.
Nate, how about you?
no.
Why?
It's just no.
People in meat pies. I'm
I don't know that they do meat pies. Maybe it's a
What kind of
eclair.
food? Maybe if
An
it's different
eclair.
food
I don't know.
types. Yeah, baguettes.
Something off of the British baking show or whatever. The Great whatever the show
Ooh, you
is.
can make a real croque madame.
Ooh.
I was gonna say bitch and chips.
Oh,
Again, French, not Sweeney
Well,
Todd.
you said like an English cooking show.
it would
I
be
went
a
for it.
croque monsieur. Because
Yeah, croque monsieur. Yeah.
yeah.
C'est- Oui. Lisa, how about you?
Yes.
Oh,
I would watch
wow.
this. This
All
sounds
right.
interesting.
Now you know there's no singing probably. Well, probably.
Hey,
in this
you don't
one.
know that.
We have a date, Lisa.
Maybe.
It
Yeah.
said clown Val clown.
All right,
Not gonna
the
be
clown-
this.
Well, okay, so the ladies are in. I would probably
You would
watch
watch it.
this.
You would
I
watch
would.
it.
I like Sweeney
All
Todd.
right, so this could be a
so-
future episode then. If some
That would
people
be
watch
yeah.
it, man.
Put it on the
Troll
list.
2.
Okay. Honorable mention. We're not going to talk about it, but Spawn is coming on Netflix.
Is that horror?
It's horror in that someone made this movie, and it's so bad. But John Leguizamo as a fat clown from hell. That's about it. That's about all. I'm not really going to go through this one.
There's darkness. There's an outfit.
It's not good.
It's not great.
Martin Sheen's in it though. So,
Martin Sheen's in it.
Good for him. That's a.
Keep getting them checks. Award
Hey,
right there.
that
for
pool's not going to
Martin
build
Sheen.
itself. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
All right, so big movie coming out on July 6th is The Void. I actually just wrote down the synopsis from this. It's cloaked cult-like figures trap a police officer, Aaron Poole, patients, and staffers inside a hospital that is a gateway to evil. Some of the things I've seen about it are that it's very reminiscent to like Thing, very alien busting, kind of creepy. You don't really know what's going on type of movie. It's supposed to be pretty cool. So I mean, I'm down to watch it. It looks gory and bloody as hell. So
We almost went to go see it in the theaters when it was in the theaters.
That's
so.
right, we did.
Yeah, we were very
they
close.
only just had it way too late for as far as we had to travel for it.
Exactly. So I'm in. I'm definitely in on that one.
Yeah, that's right. This is the one where I've also read. It sounds like they literally take every horror movie trope or whatever and throw it in there. Like anything this movie could be about, anything that could possibly scare you in a horror movie, it's probably in this film. Lisa, how about you? You in this?
I mean, I'm a host on this podcast, so I'll probably have to watch it.
Well, have to is yes, but do you want to? I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah,
what
those
we're
are two different
asking.
questions.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. It
Yeah.
depends depends how it comes out. I don't. If it's good, I'll be happy. If not, well,
Too late.
that's what I'm here for anyway.
Fair. Matt, how about you? How does this sound to you?
Yeah, I'm not sold.
No, not Lovecraftian type of.
No, that's not really my thing.
There's no zombies in this
There's
one.
no zombies.
There are no
Well, there could be
zombies.
zombies. I mean,
Well,
there were zombies in Lovecraft.
If
stuff.
you said everything, then yes, there would have to be zombies.
Yeah.
But no, that's okay.
No.
No, all right.
So is this your one and only time you're joining us on this podcast?
Well, no, we'll eventually do
see.
Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Night of
Yeah.
the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead,
Zombies in
2
space.
through like 6.
Pride and Prejudice versus zombies.
I might actually watch that
Necropolis.
one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Kirti, how about you? The Void.
I don't know. It sounds like not enough storyline, just more blood.
Right.
So
And the problem is.
Yeah. What do you?
yeah, so I'm willing to watch a butcher, just not, the
Yeah, really.
the people in the hospital.
If they're not getting put into
to-
pies, I'm out.
Yeah,
Now, if they
pretty
get killed,
much.
sure.
I think the butcher thing appeals to me more because of the psychology of the human mind and the lengths that people are willing to go. This just sounds like pure evil, and blood. So I'm gonna go with a no.
Okay. All right, Mitch. Well, that's us.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I'm all down for this one. Pointless violence is the reason why I still watch Blood Drive at this point.
wow.
Okay, and the final movie is I should not have to really tell you a whole lot about this, but it's the animated Netflix original Castlevania Season 1. So this will be out on July 7th. I believe it's following, is it Richter Belmont? Or there's so many different names. Something Belmont.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. The guy with the whip. And he's going after Dracula per normal Castlevania storyline. I mean, I'll probably give it a whirl. I don't know how good it's going to be, but
Probably not.
So do you guys know Castlevania?
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
old like NES, SNES game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd say it's maybe.
that's okay. I'll take a maybe, Kirti.
It's animated, not for me.
Ooh.
Oh,
wow.
I have a hard stance for movies. and
Prejudice against the
animation.
anime
I know.
movies. Wow.
I mean, so many good ones like Attack on Titan is a pretty solid horror
Yeah.
anime.
I didn't like that one either. Boom.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed in y'all. So, Nate, what about you, Castlevania?
As long as it's not like the game and then you have to keep backtracking and doing the same thing over and over again. As long as it doesn't do that in the actual show, I'm in.
As long
No,
as it
it-
saves progress.
I feel like it should do that, just so it's keeping in with the
I
game.
don't know. That was kind of tedious occasionally.
Lisa, is this video game adaptation up your alley?
I think so.
Okay.
It sounds interesting.
Okay.
And I'm all for animation. So,
Ooh.
Well, there you go. Okay.
Fight.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know which storyline they're going to pursue. There's so many Castlevania games. The best one to me was always Symphony of the Night, where you're
Yes.
Alucard, who is Dracula backwards.
Yeah.
Which
Clever.
clever. Okay, so that is all I have for the news this week. So we're going to move on to our question of the week.
You probably have quite a few opinions, but it's important to remember one thing. You're wrong.
So this week's question I wanted to pose to y'all, since we're watching Train to Busan, which is a zombie/infected person movie. When you're watching these movies, what do you prefer? Do you like... I think there's really two schools of thought on this, but maybe if you have another one, you can bring it up. Do you prefer a running, fast, quick zombie? Or do you like the old school lurkers, the slow
shamblers?
Right? The still numbers. I mean, it's numbers regardless. But what do you prefer in your zombie movie? And Matt, I guess I'll kick it over to you first, since zombie movies is your area.
Yeah, I definitely think the runners are scarier. The shamblers, it just seems kind of like, it's classic. You could take a bat and just kind of go to town. Maybe it's better because it's fun. You just see people, splattering zombie brains. But I really think the fast runners are definitely scarier.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't knock that. I like the shambling ones because when it's the shamblers, they're always kind of around. They're always a constant threat. But it's more like a building sense of foreboding rather than you're just gonna get your neck and jugular bit in like 1 second, which also scary. But then when you have the slow ones, you really have the chance to like. Of course, you got to find a house and you got to have strangers that somehow get in the house with you. And then it's all about the interpersonal relationships in that tight, quarters in this terrible circumstance.
So,
and then, of course, there's always like some person who's totally evil and ends up, trying to murder everybody else.
of course,
Yeah.
that's what makes it that type of movie.
Exactly. Yeah. Those are pretty interesting as well.
There's always someone trying to screw you over in these scenarios.
Yeah. Well, we've already established that it'd probably be you, Mitch, who's the one looking out for himself the most.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
At least y'all recognize. So that's good. I guess y'all wouldn't let me in your clubhouse.
So
then.
whenever
Yeah,
when
that's
the zombie apocalypse hits during this podcast, we all gang up on Mitch first. Can we all agree on this? All right.
As long as we can make him into meat pies, yes.
Okay. Done. All right.
You can make a lot of meat pies. So that's smart. That's a solid strategy. I can't fault you for it. I don't agree with it. Can't fault you for it.
I don't know. That's pretty mischievous yourself, Nate. Trying to turn.
Well,
and
hey,
say,
whoa,
it's
whoa,
totally
whoa.
Mitch.
I'm not that guy. What? Who? Not me.
Oh Lord, Lisa, how about you?
I like them both. I don't know that I could choose one or the other because I agree with Nate. When you have the slow ones, it's always the ones that are like right behind their shoulder and you're just screaming at the TV like, turn around. And then when you have the fast ones like this, I got so tense watching this movie, especially like that scene where train's pulling away, and it's just they're piling on top of each other, and they're just so quick.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's insane. So I like them both. I think they both bring something different to the table.
Yeah, to me, it's the slow ones. I got to have the tension in the film. I've got to. I don't know. It's all jump scares to me with the fast ones. It's all about just how fast. The fast movement's cool. There's obviously more stuff, but after a while, it's still just it's gonna pop out here. Okay, it's gonna pop out here. I like that slow build, that sense of dread. That even though these things are fairly easy to kill one by one, they're still they just don't stop.
Yeah.
Versus just being overrun. Where
you have a shot. You got a baseball bat. You can take a couple out, but in general, you have no chance in the long run.
Agreed.
Well, I mean, I'd say it's the same situation either way. So I'm ignorant here. What's a good classic old Shambler?
Well, Night of the Living Dead is the
original.
Is the class. That's George A. Romero was the grandfather of all modern zombie movies. Dawn of the original Dawn of the Dead.
Right.
The new one is when they really started the fast zombie, and then 28 Days Later came out.
Well, once you get Mekhi Phifer in a movie, you got to step things up. So for the remake, they really went all out.
Yeah. Even Land of the Dead. I mean, as bad as movies that was, the zombies were.
Those were slow. Yeah,
they were slow ones. So yeah, Night of the Living Dead just again it doesn't work on the larger scale, I guess, as effectively when you're talking like the huge city. But I mean, you see how effective it is with the Walking Dead. I mean, they're all the slow ones. Granted, they all get like murdered by the droves, but they are still always a problem.
That's fair.
Maybe there's just a little bit more background noise, but again, there's always that sense. And I think that maybe that's a little bit scary. You kind of forget. It's easier for those slower movies to give you that sense of calm versus the fast one. You're like, well, things could just turn around like that. I don't know. Kirti, how about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I would think adding another dimension to this and having more smarter zombies, but maybe that defeats the whole purpose, or that's an oxymoron to say that it's smarter zombies. But I think that would be scary if they were slow and they were smart, and they do have some hive mentality, right? Just like these guys did as well. But if they did something a little bit extra, or they learned over time, like an evolution of the zombie, infection, that would be interesting.
That actually happens in Land of the Dead.
A little bit, yeah.
One of the zombies, he learns how to shoot a gun.
Oh shit!
Wow. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good at the end of that. We are.
So you like more of a Resident Evil type zombie,
right?
Yeah,
a little bit more. Again, it's probably more genetic mutation / infected than it is like undead coming back to life.
There is kind of a movie that came out recently that's on Amazon Prime called The Girl with All the Gifts.
Okay,
that's a British one. That's real good. We should maybe do an episode on later. But there's like some zombies who retain some of their knowledge from when they were not infected.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
There's another one, or there's another type of zombie movie too. I don't know that you are aware of. And it's a type of horror film. I can't remember what it's traditionally called, I guess, in the industry. But the idea is it's more about these people are actually decomposing as they're turning into the zombie. So it's more like this kind of body rot as they're still living a normal life. Like they're not dead. They've just sort of kind of, I think, contracted.
Body horror?
Body horror. Thank you. I think that's
what.
So it's contracted. I think you're starting to see a lot more of these kind of films coming out. And so my thought is, how does that rank in this list then? Seeing someone actually gradually turn into this affected, where usually it's so quick because they're just trying to get to the bite and the spread of it.
Isn't that what happens to Drew Barrymore in the Netflix show she's in?
Yes.
Diet.
She turns in. It's a little. I mean, it's kind of quicker in that one because she turns into a zombie by the first episode.
Right, but I thought she was slowly starting to
That's fair. Yeah, it's sort of like that. Yeah. So they have movies where it's throughout the movie you see kind of the progression.
Seems more vampire-ish, right, at that point, because then you're
a slow turn.
Yeah, and you need whatever,
What's the intelligence?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, boom, not a zombie. Rejected.
Okay.
Yeah, we just went full circle there.
Wow. All right. That'll show me for bringing up something else. No.
Nope.
Before we move on, any other last comments around favorite type of zombie movies?
We got to talk about this movie.
Actually, let me ask. So, favorite zombie movie? I'll just ask real quick.
I really liked this one.
Oh,
yeah.
Train to Busan.
Yeah.
All right.
Tastemakers here.
Really good, but 28 Days Later is still my favorite.
Solid choice, Nate.
I'll go original Dawn of the Dead.
Nice. Lisa?
I'm with Matt. 28 Days Later is just...
It's a great movie.
I have a feeling it's the first zombie movie I ever watched, and it's fantastic.
But the thing is, it's a good movie
Mm-hmm.
that has zombies.
Right.
Yeah. My family laughs at me. Before The Walking Dead came out, my family was always giving me grief about being so into zombie movies because I was a really big zombie movie fan. Walking Dead, or not The Walking Dead, excuse me. I got tied up on that. Night of the Living Dead, the original.
Yeah, of
it's
course.
what started all. It's black and white, super cheap, but it's so effective. And they really haven't changed the formula much since. Okay, with that said, let's move on to our movie review.
Please help me. Get back! Move! Hurry up, kids! We have to depart right now!
No, we can't leave yet!
So this week, we are reviewing Train to Busan, which is available on Netflix. For those that haven't seen it or don't know, Train to Busan is a Korean zombie film about a father who reluctantly agrees to take his daughter on her birthday on a train ride to Busan to meet up with her mother. Unbeknownst to them, a zombie outbreak is ravaging the country. Nate, as always, I know you have some stats about this film.
Yes, I do. So this movie came out last year in 2016. All right, here's the question for everybody. Kirti, how long was this movie in minutes?
Oh,
How long does this movie feel?
100.
100 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, Matt. How many minutes you got here?
117.
117. Well, specific. Lisa,
I agree with Matt.
you agree with Matt? Wait, is that even possible? I don't know if that's even possible.
Yeah,
I will allow it.
I'm going to go Price is Right rules and go 118.
It is 118 minutes.
Oh, I have two. Well, I'm not 2-0, but I have 2 of these.
Yes. Time flies when Kirti's boyfriend's on screen. So she's like, "Ooh." Couple minutes, right? That was
There are
it.
plenty of Korean actors that I have crushes on. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Including Colbert when he pretends to be a Korean superstar.
Fake Korean Colbert. All right.
Yes.
All right.
Future episode, probably not. So on IMDb, this is a 7.5, so it's pretty good for a zombie movie on IMDb. And on Rotten, it's an astronomical 95% fresh.
Wow.
So critics really like this movie. I think most of us kind of liked it too. The budget was $8.5 million, and the box office was $85 million. So it did 10 times the budget, which is pretty great.
Wow.
The director was Sang-ho Hyun, who this is his first actual movie. He'd only done animated movies before, and actually in the same year he directed an animated movie called Seoul Station, like Seoul as in the city. And I think that they should do a crossover called Soul Train with both of those movies. That would be awesome.
God.
Can we bring back the music too?
Sure, I don't see why not. So yeah, that was his first movie, which is I think a great directorial debut for moving pictures as opposed to animated. We know Kirti won't watch those. There's Dong Siak Ma, the big guy.
Should we just go ahead and apologize for
Yes,
the butchering of
yes.
every Korean word
Yes.
we're going to say?
Yes, please feel free to tweet at Mitch at TEXAS Pod Massacre to correct us. But he's in a movie called The Good, the Bad, and the Weird, which is have you seen that?
Yes,
Kirti,
I
right?
have seen it.
Great movie.
That's a great movie.
Highly recommend that movie. The main actor, the terrible dad, was actually born in Busan, so that's a nice tie back to the movie. And the big guy was actually the main actor's former personal trainer before they both became
What?
actors in the Korean scene. Wow. So you could start as a personal trainer and then end up being one of the stars of a main movie. And this is actually the 6th highest grossing film in South Korea ever.
Hashtag life goals.
Yeah. Hashtag one more rep. So that's about it. So yeah, this movie, I mean, not a whole lot to say about this movie. It came out last year. It's pretty good. And it was well received pretty much everywhere. So,
the 95% was shocking.
Yeah.
I thought, and we'll get into the ratings in a bit. But so with every good zombie movie, we always have to start off with the origin of the mutation or the origin of the outbreak. In this case, we open up.
the title sequence is pretty spectacular. For sure. I
Yeah.
mean, this title sequence is one of my all-time favorite title sequences probably ever.
Yeah, we open up with essentially a gas leak, and a farmer comes across a deer that is not dead.
Oh, you mean the quote minor leak from the biotech district end quote? You mean that? You mean
Yes.
that leak? Is that what you're talking about?
that leak
Okay.
is the one I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Absolutely. My question with this really scene is, I'm really surprised that there really aren't more animal zombie attack. Like it's a cool zombie. Usually it's just we don't ever see it affect the animals. It's always just the humans, and nature just kind of goes on. We have zombie animals. Is it a missed opportunity that we do not have zombie animal attacks in this film?
Yes.
Yeah.
As a rule, yes.
Yeah, zombie spy. I mean, what all animal? Again,
Well, hey, wait. So you were discounting the classic Zombievers movie that came out in the last few
Or
years.
Sharknadoes. Oh wait, that wasn't anything.
That's not really zombie.
that's
Yeah,
not zombie.
I know.
Zombievers.
Zombievers.
I'm just rolling my eyes. Somebody went in
as
and
good-
pitched this idea.
It's as good as it sounds.
And that
Kirti,
person has
maybe
more
in the
money.
origin story.
Pretty
You
awesome.
never know.
Is that the origin story to Zombievers? Is the Sharknado?
Apparently.
Maybe.
Back to your question though. I mean, where does it stop? What kinds of animals, right? Would it be all kinds of animals, four-legged animals? Would it go down all the way to insects? I mean, I think you could
Ooh,
get pretty
zombie
crazy.
insects?
Yeah. I mean,
Ooh,
well,
zombie
exactly.
ants would be creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Hey.
a swarm.
The whole movie is an
Yeah.
extreme close-up so you can see what's happening.
Well, and the other question too is, okay, so are zombie animals just going after other animals? Like, do you just stick to the same species? Because I mean, obviously, we only see the humans going after humans, but like, I don't know.
Well, okay, so deers are not carnivorous animals. So if they get this infection, do they just not try to bite people because they're not carnivores?
But people are not normally
They're
cannibals.
They're carnivores. They
Omnivores.
eat meat.
omnivores.
yeah, but there's a difference between normally versus just not really even equipped for it. Deer don't have the
Deer don't have like the
teeth
incisors, the canines.
I think
worry
they would
about
just
that.
go rabid and would bite anyways. Because I think the bite is
Right.
not the food part. It's just
Yeah,
the rabidness.
so just like gumming
It's this
everybody.
general kind of hunger that can't be satiated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Except with meat pies.
not super related, but sort of. I really wish I'd see more zombies with dentures and they lose them, and so they're just like gumming people, trying to spread it.
That's
How
yeah.
that has not been done like Shaun of the Dead or
Well, Walking
any
Dead
of
did that.
those.
She,
that's
she
a great
knocked off
movie,
their
too.
jaws. Michelle.
Yeah, but I mean that's like an effective strategy. I'm talking about like you're trapped in an elderly home and they've all misplaced their dentures and they're just gumming
well,
everyone.
even if they bite you with the dentures, you're still fine.
Sounds like our first production, guys.
Okay, so the titles for Train to Busan 2 that feature the animals is Train to Busan 2, Fear the Deer. Train to Busan 2, You're Bucked. Train to Busan 2, Doe, a Deer, a Zombie Deer. Or Train to Busan 2, Antler, I Hardly Know Her.
Nate, did you trademark these? Because those are gold.
Yeah, that is 4 of more on my notes that they are. I will stop it there.
that's incredible. We may have to share out the full list on Twitter. 'Cause
Sure.
That is
Yeah, I got more.
solid.
Need a Kickstarter this.
Yeah, absolutely. How is this not greenlit already? Because there's going to be a sequel of some sort. It has to be with as much money as it made.
Now, the main question in this movie is, so the title sequence is great. The zombie deer gets hit by a car, is down, goes up, and you're like, oh, yeah, this leak is a little bit more than a minor leak. Spraying some water on a truck is not going to stop it. But the main question in this movie is, how terrible is this dad? This dad is terrible.
He tries to redeem himself by the end of the story.
But up until then, though, let's be real.
he is
There is a solid
rough.
20 minutes of what I call the bad dad montage. All the way through them getting on the train and not even caring
Yeah.
when they're on the train.
It's your birthday. Don't care.
Here's a Wii that you already have because I don't know what you have.
This is 2016. At least go for a Wii U. You're a fund manager. Apparently that means you have money.
or
Whatever that
VR.
means.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, VR or something. Come on. This is terrible. Matt, how bad was this dad? Scale of 1 to 10. Like 10 being the best dad, 1 being the worst dad.
Well, he didn't kill her and eat her, so I'm going to say 9 out of 10.
Wow, your expectations are
That's so
low.
wide
Such a low bar.
Matt,
Quite a scale.
you're about to be a dad. Did you take any learnings away from this?
Yeah.
Don't be like them.
Don't be like him.
Don't be a fun manager.
Don't be a fun manager. I'd say maybe moving away from the dad just on the pregnancy bit. Make sure Jill's wearing shoes so she can run.
Just in case zombie apocalypse breaks out.
Just in case.
Your pregnant wife needs to be able to run at all times.
Oh yeah, we'd be totally screwed without it.
Okay, all right. That's fair.
What I love about all these zombie movies, so they've gone on this train. The daughter's just running around in a way to help you meet all the.
Well, they get on the train because she's like, "Hey, Dad, I don't want to hang out with you."
Well, yeah, no, she definitely she wants to go move with her mom.
I'm out.
Right.
I don't want to be here.
Well, why would you?
Yeah.
But they're on the train, and I love about zombie movies that every character in these things are just like the worst people you can imagine. It is just an orchestra of terrible, terrible people. You got, Mr. Business over here just randomly touching a little kid's head, ruffling hair and all that, and berating this one person, saying, "If you don't go to school, you'll be that person."
Yeah, and then the rich guy tells the little girl, "Hey, go to school or end up like the homeless guy who is getting confronted." And she says, "My mom says whoever says that is a bad person." And I wrote, "You should be living with your mom." Because this mom sounds like she's got it all together. And this dad, and while this is happening, of course, the dad is sleeping. Right?
Yep.
So like,
yeah,
where's my little girl at? Who knows?
It's fine. She has a cell phone.
Yeah, she has.
Nothing bad can happen.
That's true. She's got 2 Wii's. Everything's covered.
I mean, she wanted to go by herself. If you're just going to sleep, just let her go. The point.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I do think that they keep in the movie overall coming back to this notion of like good people, bad people. How do people react in these situations? All that. It's very consistent with, I think, other Korean movies where there are a lot of sort of family elements to it. This has a lot of that, including the bad dad thing.
Yeah.
And then I did think it was funny when they mentioned the studies, like go to school. And I was like, classic thing that a country like Korea would have. Something that we did in India as well. Same exact thing. Don't be a homeless person.
Fun fact,
go to
Kirti
school.
is from India.
Yeah.
We spoiled it. I know.
Oh, yeah. Well, my voice, doesn't give it away.
Well, good or bad, can we agree that the one thing they all have in common is that no one can hold it at all? They are all impatient to use this restroom.
Yeah.
There's at least 40 people either using the restroom, waiting in line to use it, banging on the door for what has only been maybe a minute.
What is this alcohol that we have on the table right now?
This episode is sponsored by
Jinro?
Jinro.
Jinro is the brand.
They're all drinking this alcohol,
Korea's
I think.
number one.
I was going to say soju because Jinro is not paying us, but yes, that is
Sure.
right.
Maybe everyone in that movie is drinking this alcohol, and that's why
It is an hour ride. Hold it. It is ridiculous.
And the people going to the bathroom
Broken
are a
seal.
pregnant woman and a little girl. So
No, that's one of them. But she
There were
literally is
others.
like going
Yes.
through cars trying to like just knock on the door, and every like cut scene was just someone knocking on the door to get in.
And I think this was a great jab at society and the kind of the preconceptions people have, where the homeless guy gets on the train and feel like, oh my God, we gotta go talk to that guy. Whereas like there's this shambling woman who looks all disheveled. People are like, yeah, she's cool. Let's not confront her at all. Let's just let her stumble through a couple of train cars and then start having seizures before we start looking at her. But the homeless guy gets on like instantaneously. They're on him.
But I do think that the guy that was trying to get him out of the restroom was super polite. Something that would never happen, like here, people.
This wasn't a Delta train car,
or United, either of those.
So let me ask you this. So she, they're going, and you're waiting for the moment when someone's gonna bring the zombie on, right? She stumbles in. She's on the floor. The nice train, the lady who's working on the train, confronts her, tries to help her. Okay, what would you do? You walk in. She's on the floor. Would you help her? Would you open the door and kick her out?
Well, it's obviously the start of a zombie movie, so kick her out.
Yeah. This is the thing that Mitch always brings up every time there's a movie. None of these people in any of these movies have ever watched any horror movies of any kind in their life.
It's why this podcast is such a service to both people who love horror movies and hate them, because we're telling you valuable life safety lessons. Number one, someone starts freaking out. I don't care if they're on meth. I don't care if they're a zombie. You're done. You just get out of there. You called it in.
You get out of there. There's a on a train that's going.
Just lock. Somebody else. You called it in. That's all you can do. Get out of defuse the situation. Get out of there. Don't turn your back on it. That's one thing.
Yeah.
Wise.
I'm already getting into what I would have done differently. There's a lot in this movie.
I say I start helping people until like all their bones start cracking. You know what? Then maybe you start getting away from them. When the bones and their whole body start cracking,
Yeah, it's pretty creepy.
I would say that that's when you start backing away and protecting yourself.
If I ever become a zombie, I hope I become one of these zombies because they are all like parkour ready zombies.
These are parkour zombies.
Yeah.
I have a phrase for
breakdancing
these.
zombies.
Yeah, I have a phrase for these. These are the Usain Bolt of zombies because one, they were fast.
Wait, did you say Hussein Bolt?
Usain Bolt. Whatever. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Usain Bolt.
Usain is that
the Saddam Hussein of
fuck,
Usain Bolt.
whatever.
There's an extra letter there
The
somewhere.
fastest
They're
guy in the
ruthless
world.
and they're
Yes,
fast.
Exactly.
They can do it
And
all.
they look like they've been parkouring. They look like they can, pop, lock, and dance.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, there was like a first-person zombie selfie cam that was kind of jiggling side to side in some of these train sequences. Like,
It was almost
they
like
were-
the,
oh, yeah.
they had some flair. These zombies.
it
for
was
sure.
like the Korean "So You Think You Can Dance"
And they're like,
zombie edition.
zombie edition. Yeah.
Before we get too far into the infection, because we're about to move that way, there is one scene I want to ask you about because I thought it was very weird. The lady we're talking about that gets bitten and becomes quite literally the best zombie or the best looking zombie in terms of her effects, her movement, all that. The attendant that helps the girl.
you just found her attractive, right?
No, but that's not any just as worse. She's fine. Moving on.
6, 7 at night.
That's bold.
A little more. The blood actually went up. So before that, though, she has her tie, and her male attendant's like, "Hey, fix your fucking scarf." And she like, "Oh," and she just moves it like 10 degrees this way to the left, and that's it. It's like that is some anal retentiveness on the scarf. Is that?
Yeah,
I think it's a cultural thing, just generally. Like, there's more uniformity. I think some people are more used to that. So I think that's where that comes from.
yeah, but like 10 degrees. Yeah, like it seemed excessive. Yeah.
It was just an
Otherwise,
odd.
it's just sloppy.
I get that it's a culture. It just seemed like an odd because what did it have to do with anything? What was the point of adding that scene?
Well, it's because they're so proper, and then when the shit hits the fan, they're like, "Oh shit, this properness means nothing."
Especially if they zoomed in on the scarf like after she turned. Just
yeah,
to like
then her
be like,
scarf is like
oh.
in the perfect position. But she's
as a zombie, she just moves it down,
Yeah.
like or if she had choked someone with the.
Is this a
scarf, that'd
critique
been tight.
about how people in Korea are becoming zombies in too uniform? Oh, is that what's happening here? I didn't even think about that.
I'm not saying anything.
I am positive that was just to show the male attendant was being a dick. I'm sure that's literally the only reason it was included.
Okay, well, yeah, it could
It's
be that.
possible.
Okay, so the zombie infection has started. We have our first zombie, and then we have a shit ton more in like 5 seconds. Like, it does not take long in this train that is going super fast.
Is this the world's worst baseball team? I wrote down in my notes because this is a high school.
Yep.
This is a high
That's
school
what it
team.
looks like. Yep.
Those bats look comically small.
Well,
They do.
They did not look like real baseball.
Because you're like, there's a female lady trying to help this other seizuring lady, and she gets overtaken and bit, and then you get a whole train car of fairly athletic dudes with baseball bats, and they don't do anything. They just get rolled through really hard.
They seemed very confused the first few moments,
They do,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
My real concern with this is that, it's really inconsistent. If you think about that scene and how quickly the zombies were turning, it was like snap your fingers, really, really, really quick. And then, yet you see, later in the movie, several characters, they get bit, they shamble on, still talk. That doesn't feel right.
Maybe it's like The Walking Dead of the turning, because I think different people turn at different times, according to The Walking Dead.
The first lady
Bible.
tried to like tourniquet her leg and I guess that made
Right.
it slower.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, though, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the main guy who like fought all the zombies off,
Right.
he turned the slowest, and I don't know if it
Oh, the
was
big guy.
because he got one bite and then he kept going. Because most of the other people, when they turned quickly, it's because they were like their-
Jugular.
Yeah,
That's
like-
right.
their
Maybe
entire
it's-
neck
It
was
was like
ripped
his
out.
thumb or something.
Yeah.
It's the extremities, right? Maybe, all of it's always on the hand.
Right.
The other's at the jugular. Maybe that's the difference.
Because both main guys got one bite and it took longer to take hold.
That's fair.
So, Kirti, if you were going to do your Will Smith I Am Legending on this and reverse engineer this virus or whatever this is, so is it bloodstream? Is it bloodstream related? What is your take here?
I think so. It's something bloodstream related. What I didn't understand is why they didn't just amputate themselves.
Ooh.
I wondered that too, especially in the end scene. You know, when he's on the train,
Exactly.
it bit his hand. You just stick your hand underneath the wheel or something like that.
They don't have a knife to stab any
Yeah.
zombies.
Yeah.
How are they
You
going to
see
do
walking
this?
around with a
Holding-
machete.
No, I'm talking about the
They
end
barely
scene.
have regulation-sized baseball bats, and you think they're going to just have something to whittle off their hand and let it
No,
flash?
I'm saying he should have, the end scene, when they're on the train,
Yeah.
he should have stuck his hand underneath the whatever the metal wheel is and had it lop off his infected hand.
And then bleed to death?
It would have ripped his whole arm off.
Yeah,
That's
but he
me.
would have lived.
Well,
No, not if
He would have lived longer, marginally, but still, yeah, it's true.
Look, it's
At
worth.
least he wouldn't have
It's
been a zombie.
certainly worth a shot. But let's be real. We don't know how fast it traveled. So it
Hey, you know, I look at it, I'd probably do it. I'd try it because I'm going to die.
well, yeah,
either
you
way.
should totally.
If you're bit, I
Look,
mean,
if you're bit, just die with dignity. Stop trying to run onto a train full of people. You're done. You know it is. She's over here going, "I'm so sorry. I'm so." You're dead. Just
that would have made the movie about 30 minutes long because a lot
well,
of
clearly
it was,
not because the whole country, and that's
Yeah.
And as they're on the train, they find out that there's quarantine sets up here and there, and the general state is that this is affecting the entire country.
I wrote down the government said violent riots are taking place, but there are a lot of baseless rumors going around. Wait, what?
And then that your general safety is
Just
probably fine.
Stay in your homes and you'll be fine. Unless you're the mom of the terrible dad character, in which case I wrote down even turning into a zombie, she was disappointed in him, which is pretty terrible.
he
So it's
didn't
like,
even do that
this
right.
is like I like your ex-wife more than you. Is basically the whole premise of what the grandma was for the 5 minutes she was in the movie. I mean, it was pretty rough.
That was
but,
pretty consistent. The government theme of like, clearly this is just a minor gas leak, or don't worry, everything is cool.
yeah, violent riots.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that press conference because
Yeah.
he just came on so cool and collected. He's like, it'll be okay. Just stay in your homes.
Well, you know, flipping it around, I mean, that still goes to the idea of like the cultural norms, like disappointed in children.
Yes.
So you could still see it there. Oh, yeah. Should have been like your ex-wife.
Yeah. Known that your kid was having a recital
She
and
was
then
better than
crying
you.
during it. And then
She was
stopped
better
it.
than you.
Yeah, she was better than him.
A lot of dad hating going on here.
Not kidding.
It's hard to tell, Mitch, between this movie and Amityville Horror, like which dad was worse. It's even harder to.
Man, you know,
This movie's probably- he's
similar.
like-
It's definitely this one.
Yeah.
Because he's legit the dad, not the stepfather.
I
which
think
is a
y'all are
little harder
forgetting the
job.
Omen. They were not good parents in
Yeah.
that one.
Well, the
I
mom
think
was
it's a-
terrible in the Omen.
Yeah.
Man,
Was the mom.
I got to defend the mom. The mom was fine. The kid was the Antichrist.
Anyway, we're gonna get sidetracked. So they arrive at the first station where they decide they're going to make an emergency stop at Daejeon Station. I am so sorry if anyone who speaks Korean is listening. It's
Daejeon.
nothing like a bunch of people from the South trying to say
Yeah.
Korean words.
Yep.
Anyway, they get to the station where there is supposed to be a military quarantine. That ain't there. Instead, military zombies. Okay, so since apparently you've all researched Korean history and cultural norms, and I didn't, is gun control a thing there? Are they a
there's no guns.
anti-gun?
There's no
Okay,
guns.
it makes sense. I was like, there's got to be someone that had to have thought like, hey, maybe I'll grab something off one of these dead military folks.
Yeah, but I mean, with that many zombies, I don't think it would have mattered.
They're there.
The
but
big
not
bodybuilder
for-
dude could have easily grabbed one. He could have done anything he wanted to.
So, but think at the end of the movie too. You know, the army did have guns, but they just probably didn't use it for riot control.
Yeah, because it wouldn't have worked. I mean, there's like thousands of zombies. I guess I don't know. Yeah, how they thinned them out or.
Yeah, I
don't
think it would be
know.
more effective to do some sort of chemical attack, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they're thinking that these are rioters,
Yeah.
then there would be no need for guns.
Yeah, true.
That may be the difference.
Oh,
I think this is
a
us,
shady
the
government.
Texas in us speaking,
It is.
right? Like guns, like why are
He's coming right for us.
Yeah.
Because you know what would help those people's safety on that train? More guns on that train. That would have helped a lot.
I'm not saying guns are the answer.
No, I know,
I'm
I
saying
know.
guns are a answer.
Yeah. Their best weapons seem to be wrapped up magazines and baseball bats that were too small. Yeah, that was the whole strategy.
One thing that didn't make sense to me was so they get to the train station, they're going down, they realize that the government is the soldiers there have all turned. So they start running back towards the train, and the main dad falls down and there's a zombie on top of him, and then the homeless guy comes, literally throws a jacket over him, and then it's fine. He backs off because he can't see him. Okay, perfect strategy. Cover the zombie's face, they can't see you. However, the entire rest of the movie, they never use that strategy again.
Yes.
They block the doors, but I'm like, just cover their heads. It'll be okay.
Well,
but there's too
use
many.
the darkness strategy. It's the same
They
essential
do,
strategy.
but I'm like,
Yeah.
when
So
you're
once
not
they-
in a tunnel.
And that's a
Once
lot
they-
of jackets. I mean, where would they?
Yeah. Well, but no, like just flip their own shirt over their head. I don't know.
You know how they had the fire extinguishers that they used in one scene to like go
to
after
block the visibility. Yeah,
Why not just like spray it in their eyes?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That could have worked.
That's true.
Now the question is if it would be effective to spray it in their eyes and then they would be permanently, or they
Ooh,
would just
blinded,
be,
yeah.
No, but they'd be calm enough at which
Yeah.
point you could probably stick a shirt, shopping bag.
We're gonna let Matt go first and spray him. Like, hey Matt, send you to the fire extinguisher.
Hey Matt,
see
you're
what
calm.
happens.
You go up there first.
Yeah.
That's fine with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're back on the train. They're using the tunnels pretty cleverly, which I thought that was a pretty cool twist. Certainly had a Silent Hill vibe with the nurse, like the nurse scene in the movie and the video games, where they don't see, so they're dark, but they still move. So they're sneaking around them, and it's very tense and all that part. And then they regroup with the people they're trying to get with, and they have what I call the 2-minute drill. They've got 2-minute time limit to try to get through this whole horde of zombies. Really cool scene. Although as they're crawling up on top on the luggage rack, there was just a part of me that I think he did the cell phone thing to trick him, but I feel like he could have done that a lot earlier and a lot more easily. Like, I'm just gonna set a timer and just let that go off,
Yeah.
and then I'm good.
Well, they kind of had like a 300 kind of phalanx thing going on too. They had the big burly guy with the pregnant wife was the leader for sure. He was
the big burly
kicking
guy.
ass.
With any wrestling fans who listen will appreciate this. He's the Korean Samoa Joe.
Oh my god.
He looks just like him, and he was my favorite person in this whole movie. He was good. He was really good. MVP easily.
Definitely not the dad. Yes.
Well, no, but so it was great because in that scene, they're fighting their way through, and the baseball player, teenager guy kind of freezes, and I mean they've already seen so many people die, so I mean it makes sense. But they're trying to make their way back to the main group, and they're all talking about their families, and the guy's like, "Shut up!" and he's looking on his phone like where the tunnels are going to be, like that dad. So even though he was a total kind of a dick and didn't care about his family that much, he was still kind of smart. Hence the fund managering that he does. He clearly has got some intelligence.
Yeah, so Korean Samoa Joe was very upset about him being a fund manager.
Yeah.
But he never really explained it. Just
say he's a bloodsucker. That was all he said.
that was it. Like,
and the daughter's like, yes.
Yeah, the daughter's like, we're all thinking it.
I think it's like a Wall Street sort of thing where, when people generally think of Wall Street here, people just say, oh yeah, that sucks. Or, I think it's similar to that.
Right.
Well, and when they're in the station in that Daejeon place, the dad says, "You don't have to do that. Be so good." And then that's when the girl says, "You only care about yourself. That's why mommy left." I mean,
Yeah.
That is the one takeaway that I got from this.
love you anymore.
that could have been the title of this movie. That's why mommy left. And
That
then there's
kept
just
coming
a
up.
picture of the dad. That's it. That's the whole movie.
It was crazy that how sad the kid was, right? Like throughout. And then it was interesting. I did find it interesting that suddenly he's like, yeah, okay, fine, I'll go on the train with you. But like, if he had sucked as a dad all this time, like, what made him change his mind?
Well, I guess the point was, it's not that he was a shitty dad, but I don't know that it was for a lack of not wanting to be a good dad. I think just priorities.
Yeah,
was thinking
Funding.
that this is what I'm doing to be a good dad.
Yeah, those funds don't manage themselves.
And the fighter, Korean
Yeah.
Samoa Joe,
The big guy,
when they're
yeah.
in the restroom, I mean, he tells him, he goes, don't, she's going to realize one day everything that you did for her. Like you work your butt off and she's going to realize it. Just give it time.
Yeah, and then he goes, "Shut up! I'm looking at where tunnels are." That was the same scene. It was like, oh man.
It was interesting though that you mentioned that he told her, "Don't think about anybody else. Just focus on you," because that kept coming up.
Right.
The sisters. She said the same thing. She's like, "Why'd you have to be so nice to everybody? Why couldn't you have looked out for yourself? You got the one guy who's basically just doesn't care anything about anybody else on the train." So
you mean the rich. The
COO.
rich guy trademark.
Yeah, the COO,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the rich guy.
Yeah. So it was kind of sad when I was like, no, don't be nice. And then you realize later the reason that the daughter gave up the seat was because her grandmother always had bad knees. And so she wanted her to sit down. So it was just a little sad. But
Yeah. Well, the people that, and it's nice in the movie that the people that end up working together end up lasting the longest,
Yeah,
right? Well,
definitely.
Except for the very end, I guess. But in general, the people who are working together do a better job of surviving.
the good people that are working, because the shitty people were working together to keep the good people from getting back when they were betrayed as they were running back to the cart saying, "We've got everyone, help us in," which ultimately led to 2 of the characters dying.
how many train cars do they go through?
Well, they went from
It's like 7 or 8 train cars. I mean, they went through a lot.
It was a
zombies.
hustle.
Yeah, it was a lot.
What I didn't understand is when the good people were trying to get in and the shitty people wouldn't let them. And then they forced them, when they did get in, they forced them to go to like another train car right next to, like away from the zombies. And I was like, what? That makes no sense.
You can't really fault them because the terrible dad in the movie had literally done the same thing to a pregnant woman, and the big guy, the first time the zombie thing was happening, he tried to lock them out.
Yeah.
Right? And so I get why the people, when they were coming back, wanted to keep them
Yeah, but they
separate.
they're infected. Let's keep y'all further away from the zombies.
That's
than
what
us.
I meant.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
So I think the
That was the
rationale,
mistake.
as I thought about it, because I think we probably all had that same thought. I think what I came to is that it was a more cramped space. It was more easily to secure versus they had that full cabin, and that may have been the last car on that train. That was so maybe they were just like, we want all the extra seating and stuff. Y'all have to stand over there the whole time in that cramped area.
well, and they couldn't push him back because the second they would open the door, they would have gotten overrun.
Right.
Well,
There's only vestibule on the far side, not on the close side.
Yeah.
well,
But in the end, it doesn't. I mean, you push them there, so they're by the door. When you get to Busan, they're blocking your way out.
Yeah, they're the buffer.
That's the only way out.
Yeah, so they let him go all the way across that train car. So there's zombies on one side, and there's a train car. Then there's like the gap in between the cars, and they get to put them in. And then when they decide to use all of their clothing to block a door, they don't pick the zombie door to block. They pick the one with the humans in it. So then North Korean sympathizing grandma lady who says everyone should be reprogrammed for violently rioting sees her, her sister, who was also an old lady, had very selflessly, sacrificed herself for the pregnant lady, right? And then she's like, I'll be with my sister, and just lets all the zombies run roughshod over all the people that had been totally
Are
safe.
you really
that was
sad
brutal.
that train car got it? Because
Yeah, I mean, most of the
they
people in
kind of
there
deserved
weren't-
it.
yeah, most of the people weren't
Just
that one
afraid.
shitty dude.
Right.
Yeah, but they all turned on them. Then it was the mob mentality. I mean, the girlfriend stayed strong. She said, "No, I know you're not infected. I'm going with you." And other people could have done it too, but they chose not to. So
They're all bad people.
so you're saying, so Lisa, you're saying they deserved? They all
I'm not
deserved
saying
it.
anyone deserved it, but
Well,
they
one
did
guy
more
did.
than the other guy.
One
That
guy
one guy
definitely
did.
I'm definitely on your
I mean,
bad side.
these
One
All
guy
of us
did.
here are all.
these zombie movies are built on the premise that somebody deserves it.
Yeah, I wrote down numerous times in my notes, that rich guy is a dick, like numerous times, just like 5 times.
And when the train gets train blocked at the next station,
Oh, in Busan, right?
on the way to Busan, they don't get to Busan just yet.
Oh, is that before Busan?
That's
Yeah.
that's before
oh,
Busan.
it's not before. Okay.
Yeah. So they stopped before, and the zombies are all coming through. He's busting out, but the zombies are going after the rich guy, who throws the attendant in the way in a true douchebaggery move. At one point, he does get knocked down, and I think I wrote in my notes, "Eat shit, Mr. Business." Now he didn't die just then.
Well, he tripped on a train track or whatever.
Something like that. Yeah.
He twisted his ankle.
But I thought it made it look like the zombies may have gotten him, but then it showed him later running. So I was like, shit.
Yeah. So the train stops because the conductor has to stop it. The conductor just bolts. There's no zombies. He goes to another train. He actually says it over the loudspeaker, like, "Hey, I'm going to the very left." Which is very nice. Yeah. That was very nice of that guy to do.
Yeah, the conductor was, for not being on the film much, he was pretty, charges out there. Doesn't really think about, doesn't really worry. He's
classic
just,
guy, yeah.
I'm going to get us there.
Yeah, and not only does he just I'm going because I don't care, I want to go somewhere safe, but he's actually even trying to work in the system, calling ahead, am I cleared to go, that type of stuff.
And the people in the control center are like, sure. We haven't heard from anybody. Do whatever you want.
You're on a single track that goes only a certain direction. So I guess.
So they have to stop at that station, I guess, before Busan.
Right.
And everything's fine. There's really no zombies. There's a bunch in the train cars, but there's none in between. And then I wrote, where the hell does this flaming train going in the opposite direction come from? And how long has it been on a track? Because everything's fine. They're kind of figuring out okay, we got to get to this left side, and then there's a flaming train car that just basically creates an earthquake that derails multiple trains, and then of course then the zombies get loose. Anyone have an idea where this train car came from?
I think it's based on the communications, right? Is that they're unable to communicate with certain stations and whatnot, especially Busan. I think they said that they couldn't get a hold of them.
Right.
So I think it makes sense that this kind of stuff happens. If you don't have people to take care of the network.
Do you think that someone purposely set it on fire because it was full of zombies? Do you think someone just sent it in the opposite direction?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, I didn't think about that. That makes more sense.
Or they sent it off to keep any trains from coming in.
Yeah.
In case they were loaded to make sure that you don't have a big influx of zombies come in.
Yeah, because I found it odd there was only one train car, right?
Or the military.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because they're stationed right in the tunnel with the train tracks.
Right.
So it's very possible they sent them all off as basically just ramming rods, to take out anything on the way.
Yeah. So after that whole big commotion, then the rich dick just kills everybody. Right?
Yeah, straight up.
He's like, "Oh yeah, the coast is clear." Train worker, and then just throws him out to get destroyed. And then it starts running. He gets a nice bit of rail track karma by spraining his ankle. Then he kills the teens.
I don't know why he hates doors. He used to love doors so much. They keep the zombies away, and then he forgets.
And then he forgets to close the doors. Yeah, that is totally
just
true. Yeah, the teens don't close the doors behind them either. Well, they're teens. The guy's
They make
this
mistakes.
chick's cute. Door closing? I don't remember what that is. I can barely walk at this point. So
I do think that the dick guy getting his, whatever his name
Dick
is.
guy. That's the
Dick
name.
guy, yeah, getting his just desserts. That's right. I use that.
Yeah. Jeez.
I thought we were doing
Why
puns
did you
today.
just use that?
We are doing puns.
We're doing puns today. I do think that that's also very consistent with the whole revenge theme in a lot of Korean movies as well. So I loved kind of seeing that happen. Plus, he was a dick, so he needed that.
We need to do, I think at some point we got to do a special episode that's not horror related, where Kirti just talks about her favorite Korean films.
Yeah.
And actors.
Well, we don't have a 12-hour time for a 12-hour podcast. We have time limits on these
episode
things.
001 of Texas Podcast K-pop. Just go from there.
So what Kirti's talking about, though, at the end, they find one more train that's able to go. The conductor gets it started, even though he then gets killed by Mr. Business.
Well, he stupidly tries to go help Mr. Business. And Mr. Business, again, he falls, and then the conductor comes to him, and he kind of just shrugs him, launching him into the mouth of a zombie. This guy is he's the worst. Yeah. He's a natural born dick. He's just, it's instinctual. If they had instead of the NFL combine, they had a dick combine. All of his numbers
MVP.
are off the charts.
MVP.
Yeah, exactly.
MVP. Yeah, so what we're left with is a final battle on the only train car remaining that's going, which sees this dick get killed, but also sees the dad get bitten. Yeah. And in the ultimate sacrifice and in full redemption, he saves his daughter and the pregnant lady and remembers to fall off the train instead of just standing
which
there.
I still think the scene where they're leaving and these really freaking fast zombies start
the best scene in the movie.
piling on the train.
And
Best
slowing
scene of
the
whole
train
movie.
down. You could see the train going slower.
Yeah.
The zombies had better teamwork than any human person in a team or group.
I would say the 300 phalanx when they went through the train to give back to the survivors was probably the best human teamwork.
This still beat it by a long shot.
That's true. There were zombies holding on and then making
because they weren't
for
consciously
everyone.
trying to work together. It just worked out that way, and it was still a better effort.
Yeah, how many glass shattering things happened with the zombies? I mean, there were at least 4 scenes maybe that they were just shattering.
Did they remind you guys of? Did you guys see World War Z?
Yes.
Yeah.
These are World War
Yeah.
Z. Or I almost think World War Z was even more crazy than these ones because they like
Piling
piled
up
them over
against
a
the
Well,
wall.
World War Z
Yeah.
was bad for a lot of reasons, but yeah, I guess they took the one good
second
thing
one's coming
about
out like
it.
next year. So get ready. Get ready.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. More zombies.
And with that, is there anything else about this movie you want to talk to, or should we move to?
I think
I have. Yeah,
you got to
okay.
talk about the last.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The last
Yeah.
heart-stopping critical scene. The pregnant lady and the little girl finally make it to Busan.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, they run across a blockade. They get off the train. And they very confidently and calmly walk through a pitch black tunnel, which I was very impressed by. I was like, okay, I guess they're just going to go for it. So they're walking through the tunnel. The snipers on the other side are trying to figure out what to do. They say, we can't tell if they're infected or not. Shoot them. I swear my heart sank. I was like, no. And then you hear the little girl start up the song that she learned for her dad. So very redeeming moment. I'm glad somebody survived because I was getting worried for a minute there.
Can we agree that this little girl cannot sing? Can we agree on this?
I mean, I feel terrible, but
The video. On
We
the
don't know the
recital-
words. You don't know.
It's Aloha Oi. Everyone
it's
knows that
universal.
song. It's just a Korean version of it.
When we have
Oh,
our K-pop
yeah, sure.
podcast that we start up, she'll never be on it. I can guarantee you that.
I just.
for sure.
I'm
she
emailing
has,
her agent right now.
She has the joy of music in her heart. She just doesn't have it in
Yeah.
her talent.
Now, so at the very end, they're on the train, right?
Lisa disagrees fully. I can tell.
They're
Well, Kirti and I are shaking our heads over here because y'all are just
so
mean.
Dicks.
on my notes on the last train. They're on one train car. Rich Dick is a zombie. They have to get through him to get to the conductor car, right? Why not pull the move of putting the coat over him, like Lisa said earlier,
Yeah,
right?
good time for
That's
that.
one option. Also, this guy has gone through, I know he had a team with them, but they went through about, 100 zombies earlier in the movie? He can't get through one zombie without getting bit. One?
you know, I was thinking about that, and I was really wondering why didn't he keep that like magazine wrap on his arm?
Yeah.
Like that would have saved him right there.
And at certain points in the movie, he was basically like the zombie whisperer. He's like, leave the door. They don't know how to open it. And like he was kind of, he's like, ooh, we'll climb up on the top. Like he was like very MacGyver-y with his
He straight up
figuring out.
Heisman'd one zombie like right out. Just palmed him right out of the way.
And then there's one zombie, and then he can't do anything. I that part I was not a huge fan of. And then of course he gets bit, and then he leaves his daughter in the most capable hands of anyone, a very pregnant woman,
Right.
to take care of her. So that's always.
I was waiting for that moment. Sorry. I was waiting for that moment where the pregnant lady starts giving birth as they're
Right.
walking through the tunnel.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
I was-
And the baby's a zombie.
Well, I was ready for the zombie to bite the pregnant lady, and then
Claw
she
her way
becomes
out.
the baby's
that was
a zombie.
that was Dawn of the Dead also.
It was, and that's
Oh,
what I
there you go,
was
Matt.
basically ready for.
Nice.
no, that's what the movie was missing for sure.
Clearly, easily. All right. Anything else you want to talk about before we move on to the next?
I have one last thing. Is that
I want everyone to realize that Nate, for all of these, has
I'm so
literally
sorry.
roughly 10 pages of notes. So it's always.
I just had to point out the one thing that makes this movie even more ridiculous. So the guy is disregarding his daughter throughout the whole movie. He's like leaving her all the time in every place that has ever existed in this movie. Then he's getting calls from his work saying, "Oh yeah, what should we do? Give me a second," and then hangs up on him all the time. I mean, there's clearly a zombie apocalypse happening. Then there's a phone call in the middle of the movie that says, "Yeah, hey boss, so we basically bankrolled
Yep.
the biotech company that made this virus happen. Should we feel bad about it?" And he goes, "No, we're good." Like, wait, what? Like the dad is just on all fronts.
Well, but
causing
I think
problems.
he said in that case, I think he said it to make that guy feel better,
Right.
Because he was like freaking out because he then cries and is literally washing blood off his hands.
Yeah.
like I wash my hands.
Do you think that's why he kind of almost let himself get bit at the end because he felt like he deserved it, but then he also saved his daughter? Is that? Ooh, and I didn't think about that before. But
No.
because he
think
felt
so.
guilty. I think he
No,
felt guilty.
I don't think
about
he
it.
let. I think it
He's
just
incapable
happened,
of
and then
Okay, so he's just incompetent at the end.
he just became he became a good guy and realized.
Okay.
I mean, he became a good guy. I think he just realized that. Yeah, it's gonna happen. So better to go out here than murder my daughter.
Yes.
Always a good choice. Speaking of good choices, I have to ask all of you, what would you have done differently?
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
So there was plenty, I think, of opportunity in this film to have done something different. Even though zombie movies are built on this idea that you're screwed no matter what, it's going to happen. But I still think there were chances that you could have improved your ability to survive. So Lisa, I'd like to ask you first, what would you have done differently in this movie?
So two things. Depends which way the story goes. So one, when they first get off at the first station, the business guy, very much so and looking out for himself, immediately goes to the conductor and says, we need to decouple the first car and we need to get the hell out of here. Okay. And the conductor's like, hemming and hawing about it. No. Decouple the damn car, get as many people as you can, get the hell out of there. So that was one thing. And I think it was even, Mitch was talking to me about this movie ahead of time and I was like, why do they never try and decouple it? And we were debating why. So that's one thing. The other thing is, okay, that all happens. That's fine. Then you go through literally 4 cars of zombies. You get to the survivors and business guy is coming at you and you punch him once.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm like, no. You take that guy, you throw him off the train. He's done. Don't even
I don't know
mess
if
with it
the rest of
anymore.
The passengers in that area would have. I think he was kind of their de facto leader almost.
They didn't seem to be on his side completely
They
until
were
just
until
looking
he
for a
said they're infected, and then they all turned. But I mean, that's what I don't know. I would have taken that baseball bat with me and taken that problem out right away.
Well, there you go. Kirti, how about you?
Yeah, I was going to mention the decoupling for sure.
Oh,
That I wrote that down because
or go on top of the train.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I didn't even think
well,
of that.
I was wondering why they didn't go outside at any point, but then again, it may be a super high speed train, and
But then
that's
zombie
stupid.
birds kill you from the top. Right.
Right.
Power lines above.
Right?
That
Yeah,
would,
those
kill you
kinds
too.
of
Low
things.
tunnels or
Those
something.
kinds
Who
of
knows?
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess another thing to do differently. I think I would have appreciated more purpose from the dad, because he was in the beginning, he was like, just a douche in general, but then he seemed like, okay, he was kind of coming around and helping people out, but then he really wasn't like as careful as he should have been, so it was just a little confusing to me. So I would have appreciated a consistent performance from him of, now I'm no longer a douche. I'm helping people out. I'm taking care of myself and not walking around with zombie and
Yeah.
no
go,
padding.
He didn't go 100% good guy dad.
Yeah.
He went like 66%.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the kind of, I thought that was a little odd. But then again, what do I know?
He's a fun manager. What are you going to do?
He's a fun manager. Right.
That's
exactly.
right. Matt, how about you? What would you have done differently?
So I also probably would have done two things differently, separately from what you all have talked about. One is pad it up. Like what? Nobody has gloves. Seriously?
Well,
they wrap up their arms. Good idea.
It worked once. Yeah, do it again, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
A lot of hand bites too. Two people died from a hand bite. Yep,
I mean,
agreed.
it seems like-
Solid observation.
That's pretty easy. I'm pretty sure they could have done
And
something
they
about
were
that.
like, there's tons of luggage in those cars.
Oh,
They could have
yeah.
grabbed. Oh my gosh.
The
Yeah, you're right.
baseballs,
You're
an
totally
entire
right.
bag of baseballs fell. I'm like, take it with you.
Yeah, just use those to distract them or something.
And the zombies are just falling over the baseballs. That would have
But
been
then,
pretty awesome.
what kind of movie would that be? People are smart.
Yeah, they were temporarily smart. Yeah, I guess I didn't notice that. That's a good point.
And the second thing, I kind of noticed they never killed a single zombie. That's really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
Was it
Yeah.
for lack of trying, or was it because they couldn't?
They're weak. They should have worked out more so they can get them.
Those bullshit bats
tracking.
don't work.
we never figured out like if you hit them in the head, do they die or like
Right.
stab them? Yeah, no one. Oh, that's a good point.
Apparently shooting them because that's the only people with guns were also the only place that did not have zombies anymore.
Good point.
Just saying.
Yeah, but maybe
America.
they were probably like total newbies and like all the other soldiers had died and they just got sent there and it was like their first day and they're like, oh yeah, maybe these guns will help us. No, you've probably been overrun like 1,000 times.
How about you, Nate?
Okay, so I have two things. One,
Were we all supposed to have two things? I'm underprepared.
my last words as the dad before I fell off the train to my daughter, who I'm leaving with, again, a very capable pregnant woman who can't move, would be sorry about the wee earlier. That would have been my last words. My actual thing would have been maybe fighting off more than one zombie at the end, and the dad would then be alive.
Yeah.
It seems like the easiest move. Throw your jacket on him, like Lisa said. That was. And then he can't do that, and then throw him off. It's like he did in normal. Don't have to like hold your hand out very specifically to get bitten, and then
Even
throw
if he
him
was
off.
still alive, you know what? He's already infected before he turns. Just kick him off. That would have been okay.
Yeah. They waited until he turned to do anything.
He had a whole monologue
Yeah.
where he was trying to say, "But I'm not infected."
Yeah, he's like, "Mommy,"
No,
or
you
something,
are.
and then,
Yeah.
and then I just would have. Yeah. So okay, I'm amending it. Thank you, Matt. Thrown the rich guy off when he looked like he was turning before he turned.
It would have felt so much better. Too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd been good. And then you can just see him then get up and run after the train. Oh, that'd have been a way
would be
better
good, yeah.
shot too. Okay, yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
So yeah, I got two, I guess, since it's a rolling road.
That's not loud. Sorry.
Look, and one of them, let's be honest, it's we've all hinted at it or talked about it. They both belong to the dad, but he made a good decision that someone else didn't. The girl that jumped on the train, you bitten, die with dignity.
Okay.
Just why spread that infection?
Take one for the team.
Look, it's when you're sick. Do you go to the office and infect people? Yeah, if you're a dick. Usually you just stay home and get better. Kind of what you should do if you get bitten. You get sick, maybe don't just walk into the most crowded place you can find and infect everybody so it spreads. Most of these zombies movies would end so quickly. It's like, oh, done. Just clean off that room and we're good. The other thing that you've all said, and I mean, let's talk about the best TV show on right now, Game of Thrones. This is taking a page out of the Lannisters' book. You see a problem, before it really escalates, just push them off.
Yeah.
They just push that kid
Wow.
right out of the window.
Wow.
You do that with the rich dude, done. You don't ask him. You don't like wait. The best
No
defense.
chances.
The best defense is a good offense in this
That's true.
case.
Yeah.
Just you know what you got to do. You know how it's going to end.
Yeah.
Take care of business. With that,
you said Game of Thrones because Steven Seagal's Lawman ended right before that, right?
Jesus.
As the best current TV show.
Well, yes, exactly.
Okay, I'm just
of
making
course,
sure.
of course.
I just want to qualify that for the listeners.
Okay, so awards. This award that I'd like to give is the award for the hero you need and the hero they do not deserve. These people did not deserve Korean Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
This dude just had an answer, came out, was whooping ass.
He threw a zombie off the ceiling of the train. I mean, he
Oh,
was
yeah.
doing it all.
He didn't run past the zombies in the big waiting area, that station with them. He just laid people out. I mean, just incredible. They did not deserve. None of those people were good enough for that angel. Rest in peace,
Well,
KSJ.
And he, Korean Samoa, not a conflict at all.
Don't worry about that. You're thinking too much about it.
Well,
So that's my award.
Andy sacrificed himself for, the dad, the little girl, his pregnant wife, right? He sacrificed himself. He held the zombies off single-handedly for, like 30 seconds or a minute. I mean, this guy was a
Her
baller.
baby's going to be Superman, like Korean Superman.
Yeah, probably.
That's the origin story.
This is going to be a future M. Night Shyamalan movie just
Oh
waiting
my
to
God.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like a DC, but just overseas.
won't happen.
Matt, would you
overseas?
Oh my God, deals. Matt, would you like to give an award out for this movie to any character?
Or the
Pass.
movie.
I'll come back to it.
Okay, or
I
the
need
movie
think
We'll come
about
back to
this
Matt.
one
We'll come back.
again.
Nate, how about you?
I'm going to give the award for most cliche to the rich dick.
Well, that's yeah.
He was consistent. He was very evil. And then I like when he was dying, he's like, "You're infected." He's like, "What?" And his eyes are like, they've gone from like jet black to like the bluest blue you've ever seen. And he's like, and then he says, "Mommy," or what? and then
That his mom's waiting for
His
him.
mom's waiting for
Yeah,
him.
he was the best cliche. There was a lot of cliches in this movie, and he was probably the best one.
He was. I like that. Lisa.
I definitely give it best audition tape for a Michael Jackson Thriller zombie because these zombies were fantastic.
This is going to be a Psy single, isn't it?
Yeah.
Psy's going to do a
Yes.
Thriller remake and all this shit.
Yes.
Going to be part of the video.
Absolutely. Kirti, how about you?
Nice. You stole the Thriller part. I literally had Thriller-esque in here. I would say the pregnant lady. I think props to her for doing all the shit that she has been doing, fighting off zombies, making that little paper thing to, hide their faces and quickly doing
It's like
it.
paper mache
Paper mache
instantly. Yeah, that was
instantly.
awesome.
I would have never thought of that.
And making that baby while this whole thing's happening.
Right.
But what is the name of the award, though? So you got to put it on a
right,
plaque.
right.
You got to give it to her. What is the award?
Best pregnant lady.
the woman's work is never done.
Oh, okay.
Matt, we've given you all a solid minute to come up with
Oh, yeah.
something now.
So this is still not going to be good, but quickest on his feet. Kind of ironically, I think the homeless guy. He was pretty smart.
Yeah,
he
he
made
was
it
good.
onto the train. He went and hid himself inside the bathroom where he's isolated. That's pretty smart. I get that.
Yep.
Not only that, he's also the only one that figured out putting something over the guy's head. He's.
I mean, he started the movie as a homeless guy, and he went about 90% of the movie. He did better than almost anybody else. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So props.
Well done. Nice. All right. Well, that leads us to our final segment.
Final cut.
Now we give our ratings out of 10. Nate, we'll start with you. I'm curious what you thought of this one.
Sure. So I'm going to give this movie 6 out of 10 tacky ringtones. Because in the movie, he throws the guy's phone to distract the zombies, which I think you mentioned earlier, Mitch. And then not only does he throw the phone and call it and then make him lose his phone and his contact with his wife, he then makes fun of his terrible K-pop ringtone at the same time. So I'll give it 6 out of 10 tacky ringtones.
Solid. Kirti.
I'm going to go with a 7 out of 10 calm government response.
Nice.
Because I just thought it was hilariously fascinating how they were just like, it's cool. Yeah, there's some riots. It's going to be fine, guys. I'm going to keep lying to you even though you're in a car full of zombies.
I like that he chose like a yellow blade, like a sports coat for this.
He was like, this is going to look good on TV.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yellow looks great on television.
Zombies can't see yellow, can they? Can they? And then figure it out. Yeah.
Zombies don't watch TV, but okay.
They did. Man.
Matt, how about you? Rating for this one?
Yeah, so I'm going to give this a 0 out of 10 shots of soju needed to watch this movie. It was great.
So
I
a reverse
A
10 out of
reverse
10?
rating.
Is this a 10 out
like
of 10?
that, right?
Okay.
That-
yeah.
it was
Wow.
I
That's our first, our show's first 10.
Well, I'm just saying it was enjoyable. I didn't need the soju to enjoy it. Where if it was something that was awful, I'd be like, no, 10 out of 10. No. See if
Whereas
I make
we've
some-
needed this whole bottle of soju to enjoy this podcast.
Yeah.
So
By the way, Mitch,
I've been taking care of the bottle, as I'm sure it shows. Lisa, how about you?
I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 crooked scarves.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I really did enjoy it. It really was
This
a
movie
well
is
done
solid.
movie.
It is well
Yeah.
received. It's just kind of a good movie. in general.
My problem with my rating, what I struggled with was that it's just so new, and I try to think in terms of all the movies we have already reviewed and what we're going to review. Where does it really sit? So I may have watered it down a little bit. I went 7 out of 10 parkour zombies. Yeah, but that could change. I mean, over time it could go up the ranks because it was very enjoyable. I really did enjoy it. It's a good entry level horror movie, zombie movie for people who aren't super into horror films.
Yeah, looking at me, Mitch.
That's why you're here. Lisa's here because she's under contract at this point. But well, that's it for another week of Texas Podcast Massacre. Nate, where can they find us if they want to tell us that we're crazy about our review?
Sure, they can find us at TexasPodcastMassacre.com, the soon-to-be newly redesigned version. And they can find us at Twitter at TXPodMassacre. And I believe next week's film is Bram Stoker's Dracula.
That's right, because you will be on location.
Yeah,
doing a special site report.
I will
for
be
that.
on location from Hungary, which is basically Transylvania. So we'll be doing that. And catch us next week. And happy 4th of July with a Korean movie.
That's right. Well, from all of us here in Houston, Texas, at Texas Podcast Massacre, we'll see you next week. Bye.